Today we're gonna drop the spec sheets and do what actually matters. Let's hit the trails and compare all 4 of these lightweight e-bikes back and forth. And in order to do that, we're gonna take all of you with us. These right here are the 4 lightweight SL e-mountain bikes I've been riding over the last year or so. We're gonna ride the same trails 4 times, once on each bike, and we'll discuss just how different they feel in reality. An important question, why are we even doing this? Well, let's montage and then dive into some context of why I like these SL e-mountain bikes just so much. Let's get into it. Oh, that stings.
Howdy, partner. I've been on my lightweight yet high eMTB horse for a couple years now, and today we'll compare 4 very different electric breed variations. These SL stallions make a lot of sense in our region, but maybe not so much in yours, so let's do some explaining. Our region is famous for mountains, and for mountain biking. As a result, the trails here are often quite upgraded with jumps and berms and other man-made features, and this is exactly why I prefer SL eMTBs. Since I started riding pedal assist mountain bikes back in 2019, I realized they do have their place, but for me, they will never replace analog bikes. Typically, the descent is the most memorable part of a ride. I found that I had significantly more fun descending on an acoustic bike than I ever did on an eMTB. As the novelty of the electric self-shuttle wore off, I realized that with the electric bikes, I'd leave a lot of the more fun trail jibs and jumps and moves back up on the table. The SL eMTB idea was to utilize a smaller battery and motor, leaning more into the pedal side of the pedal assist equation. While the bigger eMTBs can easily cover 6,000 to 8,000 feet of climbing, the SL eMTBs set their goals around half that. You'll need to pedal a bit harder, but the reward is a bike that feels much more natural on the fun bits of trail. Since our climbs are typically on graded logging roads, we can get away with using the middle power levels of assist. On these SL bikes, it's critical to avoid using turbo or boost modes, as those can nearly double how thirsty a motor is.
So I made the mistake of doing mode 2 for a bunch of our single track climb, and that zapped my battery down to like 60–70%. So I'm back at mode 1, which is maybe slightly quicker than riding an analog acoustic bike.
In rockier or more rugged conditions, the bigger e-bikes do make more sense, but for us, I've been much preferring these SLs over the Clydesdales. Let's meet the 4 contenders. First up, the Pivot Shuttle SL. This uses a Fatsois Ride 60 drive system and has a 430 watt-hour battery. I'm running a 160mm travel fork paired with a mere 130mm of rear-end travel.
Pivot Shuttle SL, 19.9 kilograms or 43.78 pounds.
Next up, the Orbea Rise LT. This uses a Shimano EP801 RS drive system and a 420 watt-hour battery. It has a 460 travel fork and 150mm of rear wheel travel.
Orbea Rise LT, 20.1 kilograms, 44.32 pounds.
The Canyon Spectral OnFly uses a TQ HPR50 system, but the battery is only 360 watt-hours. It has a 160mm travel, 38mm fork, and 150mm of rear wheel travel.
Canyon Spectral OnFly, 20.3 kilograms, 44.74 pounds.
And finally, the Rocky Mountain Instinct PowerPlay SL. This uses Rocky's proprietary Dyname drive system and has a 480 watt-hour battery. It has 150mm of fork travel, and the mid-high pivot rear suspension achieves 140 mils of travel.
That's so chunky. Rocky Mountain Instinct PowerPlay SL, 46.14 pounds, 20.9 kilograms. Okay. I want to give a huge thanks to my friends over at Jenson USA who sponsored this video and made it possible. Thank you, Jenson. Jenson is my personal favorite online retailer here in the United States of America, and they have a wide selection of electric mountain bikes from most of these brands here, as well as a few others. I've got a link to all the electric assist mountain bikes available at Jenson USA, and that's down in the description below. From that link below, any purchases you make will help support my channel, and it'll let Jenson know that you appreciate my videos. It's incredibly easy to buy a complete bike from Jenson USA. You can go from click to pedaling very quickly as Jenson fully builds these bikes in-house with their own mechanics before packaging them in their own boxes and shipping them on out. Big thanks to Jenson for their support, and big thanks to all of you for tuning in. All right, let's chat some electric assist e-bikes. At least we're done with winter now. Onwards, upwards. Well, it's a wet morning out here. We followed the weather forecast for a dry one, and She came up serving a different flavor for the day. Should do a quick intro of where we are, what we're doing, context.
Hey guys.
What's up, folks? Good morning, everyone. Day one, SL eMTB back and forth challenge.
Back and forth challenge.
Yeah.
Great name.
Thought of it myself. Everyone meet Logan. I'm sure you've already met him before. I've been riding these SL e-bikes for the last few months, one of them even for over a year, and I really enjoy them a lot more than the bigger e-bikes. So I figured it'd be cool to do a comparison amongst 4 various options. Let's jump in and feel them out and just chat about how different they are. This is the Canyon Spectral. Logan's on the Rocky Mountain Instinct Power Play SL. That just came out in the fall. This came out a while ago.
I even own a Rocky Mountain myself.
An Altitude. Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, so Logan's biased for Rocky Mountain. I don't think I have any biases other than that I've ridden some of these bikes for longer than others. All right, let's get some shots.
All right, Jeff, you're clear.
Sweet, here we go. Oh, it's slippery. Oh. This is a big bike to maneuver through a tight trail. All right, you good?
Yep.
Here goes Logan, he's dropping.
I just hit a pedal.
All 4 of these e-bikes are within 3 pounds weight of each other, and that's from 43 up to 46 pounds. That's pretty light. One important factor about e-bike weight is not so much the overall number that matters, but where that number sits on the bike. Full-size e-bikes are often only about 5 or so pounds heavier. However, that 5 extra pounds is attached to the front of the bike and really weighs the front end down. Try strapping a 5-pound dumbbell to your handlebars and let me know how much fun riding is. Spoiler alert, it's not.
All right, now we trade. All right, so you just did a run on the Rocky Mountain. Now you're doing a run on the Canyon, and I'll do a run on the Rocky. We'll compare notes in just a moment. Probably won't look any different, but this little bike's sweet.
I've had many requests to test a high pivot bike on the channel. Well, here's one right here. The Canyon Spectral uses the same TQ motor system that Trek uses on several of its e-bike models. The Spectral feels the biggest of all the bikes here with a really long reach measurement. It also has the biggest fork as a Fox 38.
So we've each had a run on each bike. 2 trails so far, 2 data points so far, not really big trails, but yeah, I'm definitely noticing a massive difference between the 2. I noticed that the Canyon is way longer and holds its speed really well. And then I noticed that the Rocky Mountain is more playful. It's more easy to whip through the tight stuff. Feels like the trail is bigger. To me, the Rocky Mountain feels easier to handle around all the roots and everything, but I have more confidence to let things get out of control with the Canyon. Probably won't look any different, but this little bike's sweet. What have been your impressions, Logan?
Yeah, I would probably echo most of the same thoughts. It's really noticeable when you hop on this bike, the Rocky Mountain from the Canyon, how much shorter the reach is.
A shorter reach, like, does that mean it's easier to bunny hop, harder to bunny hop, scarier certain places? Like, what does that mean to someone?
For me, I feel like I notice the way it turns mostly.
Yeah.
'Cause I think you get used to putting your body in a certain location when turning. I think it makes the bike feel a little like quicker to react in a way, like you mentioned. When you go from one to the other, it's like, oh, this one, you do a similar input and it reacts differently.
Yeah.
Differently being quicker.
With the reach, I feel like with the shorter reach, you have to steer the handlebars a little more, and the longer reach, you got to lean it more.
Lean it more, totally. Hopping between the 2, I definitely noticed the rear suspension has a different feel between the 2, as you would expect. And I think I prefer how it feels on the Rocky Mountain.
Oh, wow.
It just feels a little more plush. It's staying on the ground better. And it just feels more comfortable to me.
Well, let's ride some faster trails, and maybe we'll have totally different opinions, and we can light the internet on fire with controversy.
And I'll just go ahead and put my opinion out here. I hate these brakes. What codes?
They're codes, yeah.
They're on both bikes, terrible.
Let's go ride. Gotta trade bikes. All right.
Professionals.
That was sweet. That's YouTube right there.
Yeah, this bike feels so much more playful. And I think it has more power. Oh. Yeah, oh God. Oh, let's see if Jeff catches me.
Canyon Spectral is the only bike in this test that's set up as a mullet. It's also the only bike that's orange.
All right, jump!
I crashed.
Oh no, are you okay?
Kind of. I just watched the front and my feet blew off the pedals. And I did the, like, you ride on the tire.
With your nutsack?
With your nuts, yeah.
The worst Achilles heel of an e-bike is, well, jumping. Let's try a jump line on both of these lightweight e-bikes.
And as you guys can tell, Logan's now on the canyon. Oh, I can tell the seat doesn't go down as low. Wow. I didn't notice that on the trails, but on the jumps, right away. High seat. Yes.
Oh, I'm tired. I'm tired of trying so hard.
Should we let Riley go by? I'm pulling over, Logan. So we had 5 different trails to compare these 2 bikes on. I had a lot of fun. How different are these 2 bikes, Logan?
This much. I was like, how different? How do you answer that? Yeah, they're pretty different. It's cool that they are noticeably different. I feel like a lot of times we do these back-to-backs where I'm like, I don't know. They're like both pretty similar and like really good, but these 2 are actually really quite different. And not that one's really better, but it's nice because you can kind of choose the ride characteristics that you want.
I find myself having more fun on the Rocky Mountain on trails that I kind of just more want to ride myself, like the tighter, weirder, goofier stuff. Like you're working to get through it, you're not just cruising through. But on the scarier, steeper, more intense stuff, then I like the travel and the length of the canyon. But one other thing we got to mention, the battery. I got 9% left on this, and there's like 50% left on that guy.
42.
42.
Maybe. 41.
41. 41 versus 9% battery.
And we were both using the like middle of the road power modes.
For the ups and then full turbo for the down. Both bikes are great. That one feels more like a contraption, whereas the Canyon feels more turnkey. Like, I don't know, how would you call the foot vibration feel, the chain drag?
We haven't talked about that yet. And so this one has a really interesting vibration in the motor and when you're pedaling. It almost feels like you have a really, really worn out bottom bracket.
Yeah.
I don't know how else that, like.
Or your chain's been replaced with a rope.
Yeah, or chain, like, which when you're descending, it's not something that really bugs me, but when you're pedaling up a road, it is noticeable.
It feels like something's getting wasted.
The motor on the Spectral, super smooth. You
Yeah.
You don't feel anything. You don't really even, you don't hear it at all.
I don't quite understand who's gonna buy the Spectral, because like it's got all the travel, all the size and all the things, but the downside is you can't really cover much vertical. So in the terrain that would work best at, that's very mountainous, you don't have the juice to really do a lot of laps.
I mean, you could do one long lap, which would be cool.
You could do one lap.
Enough for a lot of people.
Yeah, I figure it's like an hour to an hour and a half and your bike's done. I mean, I talk about how I don't have all day to go ride, but I usually have more than an hour, hour and a half. Coming into this, I thought the Rocky Mountain was gonna be just like a hoopty contraption of a bike and just goofy. But then the geometry's good, the suspension feels great.
Yeah, suspension feels good.
But yeah, the bike is definitely a legit bike and it's a solid option despite what you might think before you spend much time on it. Yeah, and then the Canyon is...
It looks nicer.
The Canyon?
I think so.
Yeah, it looks more like a finished, whereas that's a bit more of a...
This one just kind of looks funky. And I like that you got this big fat thing here. That one's a lot less.
Yeah, it's more subtle.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to do for this video, a little different than others, since we're doing a shootout technically amongst 4 different bikes, we need to pick a winner on each day. So who's gonna be your winner today for what we just did?
I didn't know we would actually have to pick.
Yeah.
Let's see here. It's like, that's a really tough one. I think I would probably go with the Canyon.
Going Canyon.
Oh God, that hurt my ankle.
I had more fun more often on the Rocky, but where I enjoyed the Canyon, I really enjoyed it. I can't say tie. My heart feels like it's a tie. And I thought I was gonna lean way more towards the Canyon, but with the back-to-back comparison, it validated the instinct a lot more to me with my hands-on experience, which is not a good take for the internet. So I'm gonna agree with Logan and put Canyon on top for the day, but just by a hair. And I thought it was gonna be a bloodbath.
Yeah. I think that for me, the biggest drawback to the Canyon is just the range.
Here we go. Somehow I'm at 43% battery. That's ridiculous. The other bike's at like 70. Yeah, the range is horrible.
If the range was on the same level, it would be definite.
Yeah.
Canyon.
There is a bigger battery available for these. I don't know why they don't use that. And I think they make an extender.
There's an eagle. You hear it?
Oh yeah. If you enjoy real world mountain bike content, please consider hitting that red subscribe button just below. Please and thank you. Welcome to day 2, SL eMTB back and forth challenge battle comparison. We haven't branded this yet. How are you feeling, Logan?
I feel good. I'm glad it's not raining. I'm glad there's less puddles. I hate wet feet.
We had both of those yesterday, but we loved it regardless. Yesterday was fun on the Instinct and the Canyon, but I'm really looking forward to these bikes. I'm riding the Orbea Rise LT, bike I've been riding since last fall, though I did ride it one day in Spain last spring. And what bike are you on?
I am on the Pivot Shuttle SL starting, and we'll switch. I'll be on that one too.
One fun little thing, have you ridden either of these bikes before?
I've ridden both of these bikes,
yeah,
but I hadn't ridden either of yesterday's bikes.
Yeah, so yesterday we were total newbies and today we are experienced. So let's drop in and do the exact same thing we did the day before, taking turns going back and forth, trying all the same trails on the same bikes and seeing how they do. If you have any questions, let us know in the comments down below and let us know which pick and pull is your favorite. Let's drop in.
None of the branded pick and pulls.
None of the branded pick and pulls?
Yeah.
Anything you can carry challenge.
Suck. Also, they charge the same price for a seat cushion versus an entire seat.
That's insane.
Pisses me off. It shouldn't be like that. That's why Empire in Canada, love that place. Here we have the Pivot Shuttle SL. That was sketchy.
Hello.
Almost crashed.
Yeah, I kept it mellow. It's kind of slippery today.
I've posted several videos about the Shuttle SL on the channel here. In short, I've been riding it for about a year and I've really modified it to work better for me and my style.
R.I.P. Logan's nutsack there.
I want to communicate something important about the Orbea Rise LT. When I visited Orbea out in Spain last year, I got to ride a bunch of the kind of trails that they anticipated most users to ride with bikes like the Rise LT. Well, they are not man-made trails like these. They are much more natural paths through the forest. As a result, the Rise LT is a little more purpose-built for that more natural terrain. And what we have here still works on the Rise LT, but it's a little bit less in its wheelhouse.
Oh, nice, Logan. Have you jumped that one before? What's he gonna do?
This bike makes me want to try harder.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because it responds good.
Yeah.
I just like how consistent it is. It's so torsionally stiff. You push into it and it goes forward.
That much more speed? Oh, I can.
I noticed trying short and long chainstays on the Firebird that the shorter chainstays jumped quite a bit better than the long ones. And those are the shortest e-bike chainstays ever.
I'm curious of how much it's conditioned. For both of these bikes.
Yeah. I liked this one being shorter for the top corners, but for the jumpier stuff from the halfway point down, this one felt clunky and harder to manhandle as opposed to the Shuttle SL. Like that one is not only lighter by like 3 pounds, but it holds its weight lower.
Yeah, it rides really nice. Like, surprisingly close to a normal bike.
Totally.
Can I show you? Oh yeah. It's like 75%. So it's got some special juice.
Oh, I missed my wheelie. Yo! Oh, e-biking. Sketchy. Alrighty. Oh, and I just got wet.
Sorry.
Not as wet as yesterday, so it's a win. Day 2, SL eMTB challenge. We had a lot of fun. Logan, how'd you like the bikes today?
I think first overall impressions, I prefer both of these bikes over both of yesterday's bikes.
Over both of them, over the Canyon even.
I think so. Like both of the bikes yesterday, I think each of these bikes are really good, more for their own thing. This bike is just maybe a...
What's this bike?
I'm sitting on it. The Orbea is maybe better for casual riding. I just really enjoyed cruising down a trail. I wasn't pushing really fast to go as fast as I possibly could. I mean, I could still do all the features and everything. It's just kind of a comfortable ride. You can feel a little bit of like the more flex in the rear end, but it's, I don't know, it's just more comfortable.
It's not a terrible amount of flex. And when it happens, it's not like, oh my goodness, it just flexed. It's like fades into the flex with a bit of predictability. So it's not like, like it doesn't feel like you got loose spokes where it's like solid, whoa.
Yeah, there's some bikes I've owned and ridden that the rear end was too flexy, and yeah, it felt like you could feel it snaking around behind you in like a hard berm or something like that. This doesn't feel like that. It just kind of just makes for a nice ride feel over like roots and rocks and things like that. It just kind of takes the edge out of everything.
To me, the Orbea Rise LT feels like more of a trail bike, more for riding natural trails. It doesn't shine in the jumps and the berms. It can do that, but it seems happier when it's got roots and rocks, and the extra suspension travel is working to keep everything hooked up with more traction. So in that type of natural environment, longer distance rides, I think the Rise LT has the edge. For towing a child, the Rise LT has more power, and you can put that bigger battery in it. And then they're similar battery sizes, but we have much more left over here. Who knows? Who knows? I think the Rocky was at just under 40% here yesterday. Today, the Shuttle SL is at just under 40%. And then yesterday, the Canyon was at 9% right here, and you're at about 9% as well on the Orbea Rise LT.
Yep.
What did you think about the Shuttle SL?
Yeah, it motivated me to do harder things. If there was like a funky pole, I felt like I was set up better to do it. I was like, oh, I have the speed and maybe the confidence to pull and let whatever happens after that happen. Is kind of maybe how I felt when I was riding that bike. Flow trails being like a faster like turn trail with a lot of berms. I think it felt a little bit better on the berms, and it also felt better on the jumps.
I thought it was way better on the jumps. That short back end, it just pulls so easy. Even though it's longer, it still pulls really nice.
It does get off the ground really nice. There are a couple pulls in there that I was able to do on that bike that I probably could have made happen on this bike, but I wasn't quite thinking of them or just wasn't quite ready.
Yeah, your mindset changes when you're on the more casual bike versus the aggressive guy.
For sure. That was
Would you say the Canyon and the Shuttle SL are somewhat in common with their more sleek appearance and more balanced feel?
Yeah, I think they both are surprisingly similar feeling to a normal mountain bike.
Yeah.
Obviously not the same feeling, but I don't know. I don't feel like you're giving up that much on the down.
Yeah. I'm surprised that the Canyon feels so big compared to the Shuttle SL.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that.
It feels bigger, but like the geometry is not a world bigger. It is bigger. I kind of wish the Canyon was closer to the Shuttle SL, but that's just me. So for your take, we're gonna be internet here. What's the winner for the day?
It's tough. It's just like, it would depend on what I'm gonna do. I'd have to go with the Pivot.
The Pivot, the Shuttle SL.
Yeah.
Subject.
What are the other two? I don't even know.
You've ridden them a ton. Pivot, Shuttle SL, and Orbea Rise LT.
Oh, Pivot wins. It is a really tough choice. I just kind of, I don't have a good succinct
next
answer.
we're gonna ask you to rank all 4 of them 1 through 4.
Oh God.
Yeah, which is hard.
I'd choose a Pivot. I like doing dumb pulls, I like jumps, and I like smashing through stuff fast. So that's probably why I would choose the Pivot. Not that this one wouldn't do that, but there's just like that much more confidence doing those things on that bike. So that's what I have to choose.
What's number 2?
Oh, we're doing it now. Probably the Orbea.
Wow.
Probably Orbea. Number 3, Canyon, and number 4, Rocky Mountain.
Wow, okay. I'm hesitant to give my whole rankings or whatnot. Today, I preferred the Shuttle SL. I love this little bike. There's times where the Rise LT makes more sense. If you can put that bigger battery and you're towing folks with more power and all that, it's sweet. If you're racing e-bikes, I'd rather be racing the LT because I have more power with that and more battery and I can afford to use more boost mode. But the Shuttle SL for me is an all-around e-bike. It checks almost all my boxes. I love this thing. Number 2 for me would probably be the Canyon. That thing feels good. It feels like a mountain bike. The range is horrible. Maybe we could figure out a bigger battery. Maybe we could figure out a range extender. I don't know, but it's nice to have an SL eMTB that would be that fun on a very jumpy, steep downhill trail. Number 3 would probably be the Rise LT. And then number 4, probably the Rocky Mountain. But the Rocky Mountain was so fun when things were tighter and jankier. And I could see on Vancouver Island and on the North Shore, the Rocky would be such a fun bike. All of them are solid bikes. And right now there's sales going for all the various things. Let me know in the comments down below which SL eMTB is your favorite. And if you hate SL eMTBs, also let me know in the comment down below why we're wrong. We had a blast trying all 4 of these bikes. Each one has its own distinct flavor, and that's what keeps us all fun. Big thanks to all of you for tuning in and watching this video. Huge shout out to our friends at Jenson USA for their support. Again, I've got a link to all the electric bikes, including most of these, available at Jenson USA, down in the description below. I know they've got some big sale pricing going on right now, which is pretty cool. Huge thanks to Logan for spending his time riding with us and shredding. Big thanks to Riley, who had a blast filming us and also helping with editing. Again, big thanks to all of you guys. We love making these videos and we couldn't do it without you showing up and watching, so big thanks. All right, everyone, we've got a Patreon video to shoot, so we'll see you over on that site. Peace and wheelies, everyone. I remember when I turned 30, how tired I would get. Oh, man.
Yeah, when does it end?